Hey everybody, this is Mr. Doerhoff and welcome to Digital Information and Technology. All right, so what your kids are going to be covering this year with me in DIT is going to be obviously some keyboarding as we, work through um, all of our units. We'll start the year off, and we already have with Microsoft Word. It's our word processing part of it. We'll certify in this hopefully around Thanksgiving, maybe a week or two prior to it. After I've got the kids certified in Word, then we move into Microsoft Excel as they focus on spreadsheets. The Excel unit is about 14 weeks long, so I kind of anticipate them certifying around spring break, a little bit beforehand. It's not an exact science, and it's hard to kind of, each kid is different, so student A may certify a week or two before student B. It just depends on when they show that they're ready. After Excel, then we move into presentations with PowerPoint. And once the kid has all three of them, they'll have a certification from Microsoft saying that they are Microsoft associates with Word. They'll have one for Excel, they'll have one for PowerPoint, and when they do get all three, they will get another one saying that so-and-so has the title of Microsoft Office Specialist. And again, this doesn't come from Volusia County. This is coming from Microsoft. So they're these are really good titles to be putting on resumes and moving forward. So hopefully we can get as many of them in as we can. If your student is unable to meet the requirements and make the certification for Word, for example, or maybe they get hung up at Excel, there are other certifications that we have here in Volusia County that I can put your student into. So just because they don't get the Word, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to walk out of here empty-handed. If you need to contact me for whatever reason, my email, mbdoerho@volusia.k12.fl.us. I usually respond pretty quickly as I have it on my phone. If you use Teams or Canvas to try to reach me through your child's account, um, you'll probably get a response later than you would have if you just email me straight, because then I have to go through that particular platform and I can't just contact you straight from my phone like I can with email. So I would prefer the Volusia County email as it is the fastest. All right, some of the norms that your kid has to expect when they do come into the class. Obviously, be careful. We have a lot going on this year. I ask that we be respectful as we come in of ourselves, of each other, of the classroom. Just try to have an overall um, demeanor of respect. That way, that we can make this a community for learning. I ask that we be on time, especially with these eighth graders. This is a high school credit course, and some of these assignments they take a minute to get done. So we can't waste any precious time that we have kind of walking around campus. As far as being prepared, that's more of a mental statement. There's not a lot of materials that your student will need to bring into the classroom and follow instructions. I'm going to have to move a person from here to there. Some days if the computers act kind of crazy, and he needs to be able just to quickly respond so that we can take advantage of the time that we have. All right, so the biggest tool that we'll use in our classroom is a program called Gmetrics. It is what we use 6th through 8th grade for all of the certifications. This program will take your student through the different subcategories of whatever certification they're working for, and it has practice tests that are almost identical to the real test. And so our goal is to get them to scoring 900s in this classroom out of 1,000, which is 90%, so that when they sit down in front of the real one, even if they have stage fright, maybe they're a little nervous, they miss a question or two, they can still hit that 700 or 70% and get that certification. Candace, if you want to know what your student is doing in the class this week, or you want to know what they're working in next week, or maybe you missed a day or two and you kind of want to see what assignments you had from last week, if you go into Canvas, into my class page, all of the assignments are listed on there. I only use Canvas really just to put like what the week's work is and what order they need to be in. And you can find it, they're labeled by date and by unit type. So anything that we do can be posted in there or can be found in there. Teams, obviously Teams is the Volusia Live setting, if that's your classroom, if you're at home. It's a Volusia policy that we do have cameras turned on if you are using Volusia Live. Um, and by now, we're several weeks in. Most of us have a real good understanding of how. So, all right, another one that your student will use quite a bit in my class is Microsoft OneNote. It's basically a digital notebook. Um, it's how I monitor your students' progress. It's how you can monitor your students' progress to see if they are making adequate gains towards getting to that 900% that we had talked about earlier. If you are Volusia Live, the one thing I need you to know is that the Office 365 version of this does not have the ability to do what the desktop version, the downloaded version is. And that's the one that I really need. Any changes that are made in this, I can see from my end. Any changes that I make on yours, you can see from your end, and they're almost instantaneous. But this is a really good tool to be able to snap in from time to time and see if your student is making adequate steps towards making the certifications. And with the assignments, really each week it's kind of the same format. We start the week off with one of the subtests that covers, the smaller sections of what the exam is going to be. And then when that one's finished, we move into the practice exam. We work on it in training mode. It shows us how we can get the right answers. If we get something wrong, it shows us how we can get it correct. And then there's no time limit. The student can take as much time as they need, really focus on these questions that are giving them a hard time. And then we end each week by doing one of the practice exams and seeing kind of where we're at and how that score is building. And from what I've seen, a lot of people are doing a lot of really good things on this. So I am really excited about um, seeing what happens in a few weeks when we take our first certifications. Again, if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. They can be found on the Deland Middle School website. Goodbye.